Aly, you are supposed to, we're kicking it off the right way with some slam poetry. You ready?
Okay, so
I need you to read it.
Okay.
No, I don't need no backstory.
Okay.
Let's just start it off with
Wait,
you
hold
reading
on.
the poem.
I need you to calm down.
Okay. Look, she took a picture of that thing. Let me see.
So, no,
I
so here's the thing.
You wrote it with a pencil?
So yeah, when I wrote it, that's how I was like, I wanted to show people. So this is the cover. It's a compositional book.
Show everybody on it who's watching.
So it's a compositional book, and it has like my name. I don't know what the YES stands for, but it's an acronym for something. No clue. But I wrote different poems about how I felt.
Do you know are you gonna read one of them?
I'm gonna read one of them.
Okay,
but
wait.
I'm gonna read the titles first. So like just so you can see the theme of the book. So one was titled "I'm Tired."
Oh,
Another was titled "Now What?" Another was titled "Should I Care?" Another was titled "Here I Am."
No, I think I want to hear "Should I Care?"
No, you're not gonna hear that one. The other was titled "You Think You Know Me." The other was titled "Growing Up." You.
All right, pick one.
Why I Love You. Why
I Love You.
No,
Why I Love You.
I'm reading
Okay, so I don't get
the untitled one. That's the one you want to
Okay, so
hear.
we're stepping it up on the podcast today. You ready?
Yes.
Wait.
This is hilarious.
This is how we're gonna do it.
I'm gonna see if I can get through without laughing. I can't. The music doesn't help. Okay. I'm gonna laugh the whole time. It's so stupid. Okay. Okay. My love was real, not fake.
I feel like I'm in a coffee shop.
Okay.
There you go.
My love was real, not fake. And when you broke my heart, I felt the whole world quake.
Here, give it to me. Give it to me. Let me read it. Let me read it.
No, you're not gonna read it right. Okay, stop making me laugh. I'm close.
Okay, go.
Stop looking. Okay. My love was real, not fake. And when you broke my heart, I felt the whole world quake. I put everyone before because that was the plan. That's how I proved that you were my only man. I forgave you time and time again. And you lied, cheated, and even when I caught you trying to get with my cousin. But that still wasn't.
Wait a second.
What?
He tried to give it your cousin?
Tried to get with my cousin. Let me finish. But that still wasn't enough. So I proved to you that I was tough. I followed your directions instead of my own, disobeying my mama when she was the one who provided me with the phone to listen to your lies. This is so funny. Okay, day after day, it was like she knew things would end in the worst way. Oh God, I sent money and I didn't have and paid bills I couldn't pay.
This is real.
But you didn't care because everything was going your way. You said you would never hurt me and it will always be there. But where are you now? Nowhere to be found. Guess I wasn't enough for you. I guess me sitting up with you while you drenched my favorite shirt with your tears when you found out your biggest fear was becoming a reality. Playing in the NFL was not really a dream, but I was there and I promised I would never leave. But it's a promise you made sure I couldn't keep. You hurt me to the core of my heart. I was the stupid one to think nothing could break us apart. You hurt me so bad. I was going insane. I would burst into tears when I would hear Casey and JoJo sing.
Aly,
I'm
I'm a little concerned. This is heavy.
You scarred me for life. I would never love the same. And that's when I realized everything had to change. I value my heart. Now I just won't give it away. You must earn it, and that's the way it will remain. You were a lesson that I learned the hard way, but I thank you for that because you have prepared me for the jerks I'll meet along the way. You let me know to be myself and not what others want me to be of me, because I know exactly where that will leave me, unhappy. I am finally at peace. So thanks again, jerk, for hurting me because all you did was prepare me for an awesome destiny. P.S. My future husband says thanks.
That is heavy. What grade were you in?
Probably I was senior in high school. Senior, junior, had to be.
So he tried to get with your cousin?
Yeah, behind my back, like on MySpace. Yeah.
Man, this podcast started off way too heavy.
I told you.
I thought it was gonna be like, roses are red, violets are blue.
No, it was my feelings.
Man.
I mean, because we talked. So you talked about journaling, and I had to be honest.
Why did we do this again?
You said you wanted me to read it.
I know, but why?
Because we were talking about journaling and
we
being
did talk
honest.
About journaling. Oh, that's right.
Going in the past. And I told you I was cleaning up my room.
So can we put these online? Can somebody download these?
No.
Can I just put a link to a PDF in the show notes?
I don't know if I can say that.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Taylor, did you journal? No. So Taylor wrote songs.
Okay.
He didn't journal. He wrote songs.
Taylor, will you sing one?
He can relate.
See?
No, we need to put a link to some of his.
I was about to say, because I feel like if I just put
his stuff is good.
One of my
Darius, did you journal?
I did journal, but she needs to see somebody.
She does need. She needs help.
Okay, for the record, I wrote that when I was 17 because in one of the other poems, like I say my age. So I was 17 years old. I am in counseling and I am healed. I am not that girl no more. That's why I could laugh at it. Like, I wouldn't share it if I was still, like, going through it. Okay, everybody calm down. Like, man, I'm not that girl.
This is heavy. All right.
You want to know the plot twist, though?
What?
The dude I wrote that about was the catfish guy.
Oh, see? Plot twist. Man.
Like.
Yeah, we need like, overflow.
Like,
oh my
it was
gosh.
not to say there's layers to it, but I'm free.
All right. Free. Well, thanks for being so vulnerable.
Oh, you're welcome. See, I wish y'all could do the same.
Even though I kind of forced your hand because you didn't have it yesterday, so we delayed the podcast. So we can hear this today.
There you go.
All right. We have a new country in the top 5.
Oh, gosh.
And Aly tried to get it out of me earlier. She went on my computer and tried to look at the stats.
Okay, for the record, I didn't go on your computer. I just asked you to show me.
Let's ask Taylor. Who do you think? We have a new country in the top 5. Who do you think it is? Scotland. Ooh. Absolutely not.
Dang.
Darius? Russia? No.
See, this is like...
Just guess one.
The reason why people don't want to guess is your response is so harsh. No.
What you mean?
Wrong.
What you say? Close.
Yes.
It's not close.
It's on the map.
No. Okay. Cold. No.
I said that last. Oh, maybe it'll trigger them.
You want me to just tell you?
Yes, please.
Paraguay. You were not going to say that next.
I gotta say, I don't know where that is. Where's that at on the map?
It's next to Nineveh and Jerusalem.
See, your response right there is the reason. Help me! I just want to learn. Oh,
we're having too much. We're having too much fun today. Okay, so I think people should have a behind the scenes to know what happens on Sunday night at the BLOC. So here's a funny story.
Okay.
Right? Taylor is in part of this. So on Sunday, I'm like, hey, at the end of the sermon, I typically meet with the band, and I'm like, hey, at this point, this is when you come up. Mm-hmm. So I'm like maybe halfway through the message, and I see Taylor creep on stage behind me, and I literally look at him. I did look at him, and I said, no. and he looked at me, he went, no, and he kept walking and sat at the piano. Yeah, and he was already, you saw it? He was already committed. So he started playing, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna wrap it up now.
Yeah. Well, for the record, you did say as I close.
Well, I did that.
And you said the point.
What point? No, I said I was gonna show a video.
I did not do that.
Yeah, see? Miscommunication.
I'm gonna say
he did play, right? But that helped, right? Do you prefer when people preach with music behind them? Or does that matter? Does it kind of...
I feel like the music is like the build up.
The build up?
It's like you about to bring this to a close.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
seal the deal. And I'll meet a
Taylor
focus.
just...
Well, it helped me prepare what song I was going to sing.
I know. So I said, fine, Taylor, you want to play? Fine, we're going to do a closing song.
Wow.
No, that's not what happened.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
I know. So what you thought?
I thought it was really good. You're gonna laugh, but I was like, like I have to think like
What?
in my head. I was like, okay, Allison, you are in a cave.
Yeah.
You are in a cave, and I
Yeah.
thought that was. It made me wanna like you encouraged us at the end to like join
Imagine.
worship to imagine you were in a
Yeah.
cave, and I was sitting in my chair and I was like, what would I do in a cave? And I was like, I wouldn't stand.
Yeah.
I was like, so I sat on the ground like crisscross applesauce, and I was like, I feel like this is what I do in a cave, and it was interesting. It was.
Yeah.
It was a cool little perspective.
And it's not like a cave in 2022. It's like a cave when there was no social media or stuff like that. So David is literally like by himself in isolation.
I was like, it's
which is
dark.
crazy.
I
Yeah.
saw like, I was like, it's dark. It's cold. It's lonely. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you do in those times? So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. It made me. But you started off talking about Jonathans in our lives and
Yes.
best friends
Yep.
and stuff. So I thought I used this opportunity to let you know.
Here we go. Wait, hold on. This is this might be the highlight of the whole podcast. Oh wait, I got to make sure that
You don't even know what I'm about to say.
I do. Wait. Oh no, there's an ad that's playing
No.
because last week we talked about friendships.
Yeah.
And you kept sidestepping the fact that we were friends or not. So did you make a list of your top 5 friends?
No. I have the list in my head.
Okay. So hold on, wait. Here we go. Let me get.
Drum roll is Taylor. You are a John. It's because you did this big setup, bro. Like I was just about to just say it, and you have to go look up on YouTube. Anyway, I want to let you know you are a Jonathan in my life. There you go.
Thank you
There
so
you
much.
go.
That means a lot.
So you can play this back.
So would you say it's not Taylor?
Yes. Yes, it's not Taylor. Taylor and I were getting there.
So did you make a
But
list of your
yes.
top 5?
I know them. Yeah, I have them in my head. I know who they are.
Okay. Because I was even like, as I was going through this, I was thinking of 5 people in my life. And I was like, oh man, that's actually lines up perfectly. There are like 5 people that I know,
Yeah.
that I share life with. So,
And do
it's
you
pretty cool.
think it made me think deeper? Like, do you think it's just like seasons and proximity and time? Like,
Yeah,
how do you
all
think
that.
like that wavers?
All that. Just kind of like the stats or the studies that we were talking about, how as you get older, it kind of decreases and you kind of go through these little ebbs and flows of your relational spheres and stuff. I think like when you get into college, like you guys are, like we're kind of all in the same season a little bit. You're in that still college phase, but like, you start reevaluating friendships differently because then you realize, okay, is this a 2-way street? Because a lot of them are just 1-way streets. Like you learn young that people use you.
Yeah.
They just want something from you or whatever.
Right.
And so I do think it's seasonal. I think like, being single, it was one thing. Being in a relationship, leaned into relationships with people who are married, have kids. So that's a value to us now is to have relationships with people who have children. And then also people who are in similar ministry situations. So career. So where are you at in your career? What are your aspirations? What are some things that you're dealing with? I think all those things do. And then I think longevity is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like Taylor and I, we've been friends for how long? Taylor said, I'm not your friend? No, he's thinking 18 years.
Wow.
18 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so, so Taylor's in there. But yeah, so I think longevity too. People who stick around.
You made it,
He
Taylor.
made it, Taylor.
You made it.
Yeah, so I think, you go through life with people and things like that, and you get to find out who's in it for the long haul, who cares about you, people who see you at your worst, how do they react when someone stabs you in the back or when you do wrong, when you all of us mess up, but like, do the people around you love you?
Yeah.
And they protect you when you're wrong. And I can truly say that the people in my sphere protect me when I'm wrong.
That's
so,
good.
yeah.
You also said, I thought it was interesting, is that you can have 150 people in your sphere.
Yeah.
And it had me thinking, like, I do not have the capacity. At least I don't think I have the capacity.
I think it's like passive. You know, I don't think you're
Okay.
like, well, let me list out 150 people. I think just in general, we are able to maintain 150 like friendships, loosely related, obviously.
Okay, I'm about to say, because that.
No.
I was like, I'm overwhelmed. That's a lot of
Yeah,
birthdays I
no.
missed.
No.
Okay.
Okay. I don't think so.
Do you-
That'd
you
be
kn-
too much.
You know 150 people?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I know 150
Yeah.
people.
I mean, once again, the older you get, the more people you know.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
And
Now, how
so-
old are you?
Don't.
It's just so easy. I'm sorry, friend. See what I did there? Okay, but you need people like me in your life.
I do. I
do.
do. Thank you so much for reminding me of my age and why I have so many friends.
There you go. You're welcome.
When you live longer, you know more people.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
Thanks, pops. So,
But also, you also got to think like some people are introverts and extroverts.
yes, true.
Right.
Are you an introvert or extrovert?
What do you think I am?
You're like an in between. I think you're like a extrovert introvert.
Very good. Very good. Everybody be like, oh, you're an extrovert. But I
No.
do enjoy being by myself.
You do. I could
do.
tell. What do you think I am?
You're a preferred introvert.
Really?
That's what I think. You're an extrovert, but you're a preferred introvert. Like you enjoy spending time, like you enjoy having your moments.
I do. Huh.
We're very similar in that area, I think.
That's true. I do. People think I'm just straight up extrovert, and
No, you're not.
I get I'm
No,
not.
no.
Thank you.
I know you. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Next. We talk comparison kills. I wrote stuff down this week. So, have you ever heard the song "Comparison Kills" by Jonathan McReynolds?
Nope.
Okay, so it's a really good
Do
song.
you want me to pull it up?
No.
I can do it. I have it
but-
right here.
All right. So this is just gonna be the podcast where you just
Jonathan
YouTube.
McReynolds?
Yes, he is a Grammy award winning.
What's it called? Comparison Kills?
Yes, gospel artist. He is an amazing lyricist. Did I say that word right? Yes. I absolutely love him.
Is this it?
I guess. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We don't have to listen to the whole thing, though.
We don't.
But is there a part of the song?
It's at the end.
Oh. Taylor. Wait. Tell me.
So you think it's cool
Oh, rewind.
Rewind it? All right, so how about right?
So
this phone
let me do it.
and get mad
No.
when God's not
Fast forward
in
some.
a rush.
You're gonna have to edit so much, Taylor.
Make a copy and accomplish much. Pressure gets hot, and with heat come mirages. So you think it's cool over there. Your thirst is real, but water can't feel what comparison kills.
That was the line.
Okay.
That's the line. So I just think it's really cool
Uh-huh.
because you talked about comparison and how comparison literally kills because you think something is great on one side when you're not paying attention to the other side. And then you, with that, you connected it to how we have to learn to celebrate others and instead of comparing, change that comparison into celebrate. So what do you think the importance is of well, we know the importance is of not comparing, but what are some of the benefits of celebrating?
I think empathy, when we want to be a good friend, going back to that piece is be the friend that you wish you had, right? And sometimes people don't celebrate you because they're too worried about themselves.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important and that's a part of being selfless, right? Everything's not about you, it's about other people. And the more that you focus on other people, the happier you are, right? Jesus says, you're more blessed when you're giving than when you're receiving. And we like to use that for tithing, but I think that's all areas of life.
Yeah.
You're happier when you're giving of yourself than you are when you're trying to gain stuff because you'll never be satisfied with those things.
Yeah.
I think let me find this post because I had mentioned it I had mentioned that my friend of many years had made this post about her friendships over the past couple years and how she said, want to know how to have good, long-lasting friendships? Rejoice with those who rejoice, though you're in a different season, though they get an opportunity you've been waiting for, though God answers their prayers and not yours, though they get to live the dreams you've been dreaming about your whole life, rejoice. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what love is? Unselfishly giving for the good of the other. And when both sides of the friendship celebrate and rejoice with one another, it's thriving and fun and just unstoppable. That's what these amazing people have done for me time and time again. It says, so though you're still waiting, though you're still praying, though you're still dreaming, and it hurts to keep on dreaming, rejoice.
Yeah, that's it.
And I read that and I was like, that's a really good, because even in our friendships, there's the times where the friendships haven't been good. It's when we've been super selfish, And so I think that's a part of, journeying and being like Jesus.
Yeah.
Is loving someone else, being selfless.
That's good. I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I feel like, because I get more excited about other people's birthdays than my own. Like, I love celebrate. I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I love celebrating people.
I think I struggle sometimes, if I'm being honest. And I think that just shows where I'm at in my walk with the Lord of my heart. Because I think it's hard to not compare in this world, given everything that does, like, if you just live in this world, everything is comparison.
Yeah.
Like who had, for example, the Super Bowls, who's the best player, who had the most yards, who had this, you know what I'm saying? Someone wins and someone loses. There's no like rejoicing across the board.
Yeah.
And that overflows in all areas of our life, like who had the most of this and who the most of that. And so I think that it goes back to this piece where we talked about a couple weeks ago. We're like, am I content in my identity with Christ? If I'm content being a child of God, just doing what God called me to do, I don't even look to the left and the right because I know I'm doing what God's called me to do. And it's so dangerous because when you start comparing, you just walk down this road that it seems to like, it never ends.
Yeah, that's true.
It never ends. And you just keep comparing and comparing and comparing and comparing. It just, mentally, it's draining.
Yeah, that is exhausting. So you had a question and you said, what do you do when someone throws a spear at you? And you said, if you desire to play like the enemy, you will become the enemy. And you shared how, I also want to give you time to just also preach, because since Taylor kind of cut your message in half, if you want to preach,
it's okay.
I will listen.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big part of this upcoming week too, as we talk about because a big part of David's life is wilderness.
Yeah.
When you read through Scripture, you think that you're reading like one moment after a moment after a moment, but you're literally skipping years in some situations, and in David's life as well. And I shared a little bit about how I had a personal situation where somebody threw a spear at me with words when I was younger, and that drastically impacted my relationship and my view of leadership, even to this point, even today, is what I'm still understanding. And I think that, some people feel like it's easy when we hear this story to be like, yeah, like, let me think of all the people who are throwing spears at me, and like how I'm interacting and this and that. But I think sometimes you have to understand, like, you're Saul, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
wow.
we always like to put ourselves in the situation of the good character or the one who's like the underdog, where the reality is that a lot of us are Saul.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we really read this story and we put ourselves in it, we relate more to Saul than we relate to David. And some people, I think we feel like we have a Saul, but Saul is not a person who's telling you to be on time for work.
Yeah.
Right? Like we talked about, it's not a person who's challenged you to grow. It's not a person who tells you to be obedient. It's not a person who tells you what you don't want to hear.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we do that. We naturally drift into situations and friendships that make us feel comfortable and don't challenge us. And because when we're challenged, we're like, oh no, that's, I don't want to be challenged. I want to be comfortable. But Saul he's mad. He's jealous. He's angry. He's somebody who gossips a lot. He's somebody who cheers when you fall. Right? And who prays that you fall.
That's wild.
Right. But even as I'm writing this and I'm saying this and I'm preparing, I'm like, oh man, I think that there's too much of that in me. Like I'm praying that certain people don't get success, or that, I don't know, just like my heart.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a part of us unpacking Scripture. It's like a mirror, right? You look at yourself in the mirror, and a wise person asks God to change them. And to say, hey, God, I realize that this is me, and maybe you haven't promoted me, or you haven't allowed a door to open because I am like this person, Yeah. Because we're like, okay, tell me how to be like David. Tell me how to get to the end. Tell me how to win the game. Tell me how to get to the castle. And it's no, you're in this process, and you're going to learn the things that David learned, but right now you're so far, you're still dealing with these very hurtful things, things that could destroy your life and destroy other people's lives. Because if there's even a crack in your foundation, the more you put on top of it, the more the crack is revealed.
Yeah.
right? And so a lot of people are like, oh, it's not a big deal that I'm a little jealous or I'm a little, but here's the deal. The more pressure you put on top of that, the more it's going to reveal itself. And the more pressure, when you break, the more people are going to get hurt by you being broken.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So God is trying to do this in a season of loneliness, a season where it's just you and him.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, okay, because this is what we see today. We see pastors of mega churches or leaders who are falling, right? Because there has been a crack in the foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
scary.
I'm not pointing anybody out, and I'm not saying that. I'm just, all of us need to take a look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And say, okay, Lord, like what from Saul is in me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't look at this as like, yeah, we're all David. No. We're probably more Saul than David.
Yeah.
So
I think that's good you said that. I'm in a counseling class, and it like hit me that I think I've always been thinking about like, how can I care for victims? How can I help people that have been hurt? But it's just like, you may have to help the oppressor, like, because
the
hurt people.
oppressor was probably a victim.
Right. Because like hurt people hurt
right,
people.
right.
Like, and so I was like, it never hit me that like I always want to help like the helpless or the people that's been harmed, but it's like
Right.
you may have to actually like help the person that has caused this, and also like realizing that like that's a real person and they need help too. So yeah, that's good to know. And that leads to like kind of what you said too, because you talked about journaling again, about like how you have to be honesty. Like honesty comes with intimacy, and how like that, like how we can't grow and know the Lord like on a real level if we're not honest. And I feel like even in my walk, my relationship with God gotten better. It's like I don't know where I heard this message at, but it was like the pastor let me know like God can handle my emotional capacity. Like I feel like I gave him my finance, I gave him my spiritual, I gave him all this, but my emotions, I don't know why it didn't wrap around my head. Like he can handle like my emotions, and like when I released like my honest emotions to him, like of course like it was some stuff like, girl, you got yourself together, but it was like like another layer was like removed, and like our relationship is getting better because of that honesty that I've been having with him in that area.
You have to take a step, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's the first step is the hardest, the most difficult step to take. And it's a process of like, you feel weird. Like, okay, what? So I'm going to go in my room and I'm going to cry to God. Right. Like if you've never done that before, of course, that's going to feel awkward.
Yeah.
But I think that you will be met with something you did not expect. And you will walk away sensing something that you didn't expect to sense. And that in your journey, you'll start to learn, okay, God does care about these moments, and he wants these moments with me. I was even reflecting upon, I know we talked about Disney a couple weeks ago, but Pixar had this movie Inside Out. Remember that, with all the emotions?
Yes.
And you know, so the question is, what happens when you deny sadness a voice, right? Joy gets lost with sadness, and the only thing left is fear, anger, and disgust. And you have to let sadness in if you want to have any hope for joy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because I know that that's like a funny kids movie, but it's so true.
I did not find that movie funny at all.
Sorry.
It was very...
We know you need to go to counseling after the poem. But here's the deal. It's like...
The judgment in your voice. And your
no, but like,
undertone.
you know, I think that there's so much truth to that, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to be yourself. You have to be free, and you have to... Years ago, I gave this illustration on at the BLOC. I think we're doing a series on Psalms, but I brought in a steak. I had 2 different steaks on stage, and I had one that was fully cooked, and it had like a side of green beans, and it looked nice. It had sour, whatever. And then the other one was a raw steak. Which one looks the best? It's the cooked one. That's the one you're going to go for, right? And so I think that we want to present ourselves to God fully cooked.
That's good.
And say, look at us. What? Why are you laughing?
Just laughing because earlier you told me you wasn't cooking me no steak.
Okay, anyway. I know, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Like, God wants you to be raw.
Right.
He wants you to be completely honest with your feelings and emotions. And so that's why I mentioned the journaling aspect. Like, Psalms is David's journal. It's David's songbook, but that's his emotions. And, like, it really has. Like, one of my goals is to journal every week. And I found for me, and maybe this is just me, the way that my brain works, is that I feel like I can't process things well. The more life comes at me, if I don't get rid of those things.
That's a real thing.
Right? I have to mind dump on a page. I have to mind dump somewhere, but I want to remember these things. Yeah. So every time I write and I stop, and it doesn't have to be, I mean, sometimes it's like a sentence. Yeah. Or sometimes it's 2 sentences or whatever. But every time I stop journaling, I take a deep breath and I'm like, oh, okay, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
You know? And one of the things I've been doing is like, I want to journal, what has God been teaching me lately?
That's good.
You know, because that also gives me an opportunity to reflect later on. Okay, what was God teaching me in this season of life? Because I have picked up some journals in the past couple weeks, and I've read some things, and I'm like, dang, I still haven't learned this lesson. You know, I'm still going through this. Or it's the opposite of like, wow, that season prepared me for this season, like big time.
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know, I read it somewhere, I've read it in a book, I don't know. But like, there's like a psychological thing, like when you, like if you can't sleep, if thoughts are running through my brain, I have to write them down, and then I'm able to sleep, because it's like, it's something about writing it and seeing it. It is a dump. So that's a really good practice.
I even think like long term, and this is like kind of silly, but I think like I love my kids to have my journals when I'm done, you know, or whatever.
That's cute.
To be able to see, you know, what like I would love it if I had like my dad or my grandpa's journal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
That'd
to
be
see like what
interesting.
they were going through and like what they were thinking and stuff like that. I think that it would be a testimony, a way to, you know, to testify to a generation that you haven't met down the road.
That's good.
Right?
Imagine my great-great-granddaughter reading my poetry.
No, we need to stop and pray for her right now. I'm really concerned
I don't
about her.
understand why. So your kids can read your journal, but they can read mine.
Grantee Aly.
Granty?
Or whatever.
Ew.
Okay, no, we're talking like 4 generations from now. What they gonna call you?
Okay, and I will still
What they gonna call you?
I feel like a Yaya or like a Gigi.
A Yaya?
Yeah, like a Yaya or a Gigi.
So Yaya
or
Aly
Gmail,
was
like,
going through it. That's what they're gonna say?
and they gonna know my testimony, because I have more journals, because see,
okay,
that was
good.
17. Okay, I am now 32. That is behind me. Okay, I have grown. Okay, that is growth.
Hold on.
See, I don't want to hear no more. We're gonna go to the next thing. Don't pull
Wait, I gotta
don't
get
pull
it.
up another thing on that phone.
Wait, hold on.
It take too long for you to pull it up.
I'm sorry. Let's see.
Honey.
Okay, no, yeah.
And
I
see,
don't know.
and you got ads. But see, you literally cannot afford to have sound bites. Like,
All right, moving on.
buy the subscription.
Moving on.
If you want to do that. So this is, I'm not gonna lie, my notes got slim, because this is when you went bam, 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 bam.
Tell me.
Let's see, where did I wrote? Oh, when you started talking about crutches, you talked about crutches, and you went through like what the crutches were, and so you said a crutch was like anything that substitute God, anything where the focus is horizontal, and anything that gives a temporary relief, and how we shouldn't focus on that. Like, what does those look like practically?
Well, I think if you look at David's life, I even mentioned him. So the crutches were his wife was removed from him. His mentor, Samuel, was removed from him. His closest friend, Jonathan, was taken from him. He had to leave. His position was removed from him in the king's court. And then his self-respect, because he went to Goth and he had to pretend to be a madman so that he wouldn't be killed. Right? So you see all of these things that were strengths for him have now become an area of weakness for him. Right? And I realize, you know, for me and just in different seasons of my life, I can see how God removed different things that I've really heavily relied upon. And it's very painful when a crutch is taken from under you. It is extremely, extremely painful. And I think that it's an opportunity, because somebody once told me this. They said, Stephen, when something hard happened, they said, you have every right to do A, B, and C, which meant to go bring harm to these people who have hurt you. Or they said you can go and choose the other option, which is to let God just put you back together. And that's always stuck with me, because I remember being like, and I was telling our leaders before service, the issue with getting even is that you get even and you become just like the person you're trying to get even with. Yeah. And so I was, you know, I remember in that season being like, you know, I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm just going to keep doing this over and over again, because I've made the same stupid decision in relationships and this and that. I said, maybe I just need to like give it to God. Like and the thing is like, what does that even look like? What does it look like to give something to God? Right. But honestly, that was such a rewarding season, because I almost retreated to a cave, my parents' garage, where we had a Bible study, and I would go spend time in that, quote, cave every single day for hours. I would spend time in there. I'd put on worship music. I would read my Bible, and I would just let whatever emotions were in me flow out of me. Sometimes I was crying. Sometimes I was mad and I was yelling at God. But it didn't matter. It was a safe place.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody needs to have a safe, and we can call it an altar.
Yeah.
But you can have a safe place in your life where you can go and you can be alone with the Lord, and you can say what you need to say. You can do what you need to do. But it's just like, you got to have that in your life.
Yeah, that's good. I agree wholeheartedly.
Darius, any questions? Anything stood out to you? Okay.
See.
All right, if you were going to sum up the message in a sentence.
Get ready for the cave.
Get ready for the cave.
Get ready for the
Taylor,
cave.
sum it up in a sentence. No, he said get ready for the cave.
I'm an influencer.
All right. Anything else that you can think of? Oh, there's this quote that I didn't say at the end. It's in this book that I'm reading about David by Chuck Swindoll, and he said this, and I thought it was an interesting quote. He said, when God wants to do an impossible task, God takes an impossible person and crushes him.